The streets of Long Beach, California, over 40 years of racing history and partying, and one of racing's marquee events begins right now. Before we jump into all the news that's happening right here in Long Beach, we have some good news to report from the first race of the season in St. Pete. Pro Mazda driver Michael Johnson was released from the hospital. Johnson was injured in a practice crash in the season opener, but we're happy to report that his condition is improving. He's back home and expected to make a full recovery. In the meantime, teams have been driving with a sticker on their cars in support of his recovery effort. It won't happen until Indianapolis, but the Indy Lights grid has grown +1. Mexican driver Picho Toledano will make his debut at the IMS road course in May and compete in the remaining races with Team More Racing. Indy Lights had the week off from racing last week, but their minds stayed on the sport. Points leader Ed Jones went back home to Dubai, but continued his training there. He was the points leader heading into Long Beach by virtue of his sweep at St. Pete. So now you're caught up on the latest news and information heading into Long Beach. But remember that you can follow us on Twitter at Road to Indy TV, and make sure to download the new Road to Indy TV app so you can take all of us everywhere with you.
I'm standing here at the Long Beach Grand Prix with RC Enerson and Jack Harvey. 1.96 miles of pure concrete fury here, 11 turns. Jack, you raced here last year. What's your favorite corner on the track?
The whole last complex, 9, 10 and 11, honestly that hairpin at the end is so tight and it gives you such a big advantage if you can get it right, but the turn 10 before that is so tricky, and I think this is probably the hardest street circuit we go to. There's some really unique corners here, some real bumpy places when you really don't want it. In my opinion, this is one of the most difficult ones we go to. RC,
this is your first time here at Long Beach. What are your overall thoughts about the track, and where do you think your biggest challenge is going to be?
I think the biggest challenge for me is going to be the fountain turn and the hairpin turn, because it's just such slow corners compared to the other street courses. It's definitely going to be a challenge.
All right, so let's go check it out. Over here in turn 11, the most beautiful corner on the track. We have the ocean in the background over here, and behind us we have the slowest corner on the track, 25 miles an hour. And Jack, explain to me, how's that feeling of going so slowly and then you go down that back straightaway doing 170 miles an hour?
So a really bizarre corner, because like you just said, you're so slow at the apex, you feel like you need to be doing something with your feet. So then instinctively you just want to hit the power, but then you hit the power too early, it puts you in a bad position, and it costs you a lot of time if you get it wrong. So I think a little bit of patience in this corner, but it's really tricky on the entry because you're basically always turning left until you come to brake, then you go straight for as long as you can before quickly turning right. So I think this is where a lot of time can be found and lost, so we need to just make sure we're on top of our game here.
And now over to you, RC. Do you see any similarities between this corner and any of the other tracks that you've been to?
Not really. I mean, it's a very unique corner. I mean, it's one of a kind. It's just going to be tough to get used to having to commit to almost full lock of steering and trying to work your way through it and get a good runs off of it. It's definitely going to be a make or break corner.
All right, there we go.
Here at the Grand Prix of Long Beach with our In Conversation with Spencer Pigot from Nico Racing and Ayla Agren from Team Pelfrey. Spencer, obviously the Indy Lights driver, Ayla in USF 2000 this year. We're going to have a chance to kind of chat with them a little bit about their own specific journeys, their own really road to Indy. Obviously Ayla just getting into the program in USF 2000. Spencer, one of their examples of how you can go all the way through to the Indy Lights program. We'll start with Spencer. You really are the guy we watch, one of the examples, like Sage Karam, coming all the way through the ranks. Juncos Racing now with Indy Lights, it's got to be kind of cool because you do have some kind of a history with Juncos Racing, rather. You ran karts with them back in the day when Ricardo first got into the motorsports angle here in the U.S.
Yeah, I've had a relationship with Juncos Racing for a long time now. Like you said, I started racing go-karts with them when I was, I think, 9 or 10 years old. So I've known them forever. They remember me back when I was really small. With long, I used to have hair down to my shoulders, and they always make fun of me for that.
Now, Indy Lights this year, you got to be pretty happy with the way things have happened. A couple of third-place finishes at St. Petersburg. What's the physical transition from Pro Mazda into the faster Indy Lights car, that brand new Dallara? How's that feel?
Yeah, physically the Indy Lights car is definitely tougher than the Pro Mazda car. It's heavier, you know, a lot more downforce, so the cornering loads are higher, the wheels heavier, but also the races are so much longer. You know, St. Pete was an hour long, and I've never been in a car that long, so at least now going forward, I kind of know what it feels like. But yeah, definitely a lot harder physically and mentally to concentrate.
Well, Spencer definitely on a journey because he comes through the USF 2000, Pro Mazda Championship winner, and of course now running Indy Lights. Go to Ayla Agren from Norway. What a great story she is, Ayla. Let's talk about the girl racer side, then we'll move on to you coming over here. You know, most girl racers you talk to don't really think about it, do they? It's no big deal because the car doesn't know who's driving, if it's a guy or a girl.
I mean, like, it has positives and negatives,
Yeah.
but as you said, it's like the car doesn't even feel a difference. When you put a helmet on, you want to win as much as the guys do,
Yeah.
so you just go out there and push.
You have a lot more in common with Spencer probably than you know. He obviously won some scholarships as well. That was the big thing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was kind of the wheel breaker of coming over here. Just finished school in Norway and then came over here.
You get into F1600 with Team Pelfrey. You had a big year last year. Pretty impressive. A bunch of wins, and you end up winning the championship. That's huge.
Yeah, no, last year it was a great year for us. It was just trying to learn how to win and build off of it.
And this is your year to get in here, learn the new
Yeah.
race car. Is this year all about confidence and learning?
Yeah, I mean, like, we're bringing that momentum from last year, build the confidence, and then results will come as a factor of that.
You are focused on racing and school, and that's just about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really time for much more, so it's, yeah, I'm finishing up my bachelor's degree in finance this year, and then after that, it's back on racing.
It's been a great one here, having to talk with two people that have done such a great job getting into this road to Indy. Of course, Spencer Pigot, this close to the Verizon IndyCar Series, and Ayla Agren, just getting things started, but showing lots of signs of promise.
I'm here with Carlin, team manager Colin Hale. If you were to name one thing, what's been sort of the biggest transition from Europe to the American scene?
I suppose the main one is turning up in a championship and in a country that you know very little people. Now it's getting easier after our second race and a number of tests, but even so, it's still tough.
Brand new Indy Lights operation. So what's next up for Carlin Racing? Obviously you had a great first race event at St. Pete, winning both the races with Ed Jones.
We're not taking anything for granted. You know, there's still a long way to go in the championship. As you say, we've only done one race. We have both cars that are competitive. Hopefully we can maybe expand the Indy Lights program or see what happens to work towards IndyCar.
And then for what we all want to know, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone here, we want to know, aside from Max Chilton and Ed Jones, who are the best drivers you've ever worked with and why?
Personally, that's a tough one. Probably Fernando Alonso, I'd say, is probably the best driver I've ever worked with as a driver.
Not a bad driver to compare to there.
No, he was a good guy, yeah.
Right. And then best experience in the US so far?
Having two cars on the front row for both races and, you know, winning both races. It was a tremendous result, and it was a testament to all the guys here for the hard work they've done. And so much of it has been going on behind the scenes that people don't realise.
And obviously a bit of a culture shock for you moving over here to the US along with a lot of your crew, but you still have some Americans on the crew. So how are those two entities sort of merged in this big switch?
It's surprisingly enough, it's been really good. We've taken a lot from what they've shown us, and I think the same for them. And I think the American guys are now finally getting used to the way we work and our sarcasm and our sense of humour. So, you know, it's brilliant.
So a lot of practical jokes then?
Oh yeah, they're starting to get used to us all now. So.
See, that's the sign of a good team right there, practical jokes. But Colin, thank you so much.
No problem.
It's been a real pleasure, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
That's Colin Hale from Carlin.
Hey guys, I'm here with Felix Serralles and Nico Jamin to show you how to do Long Beach on a race weekend. Nico, never been in this track racing, but how is the environment?
Oh, I love California, you know. It's my second year here, but not racing, unfortunately.
What about you, Felix? Never been here, but this is the first time racing. Isn't that an amazing place to be?
It's a wonderful experience and a lot of fans and just a very good vibe.
Why don't we just go and show the fans race weekend here in Long Beach?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
Located in the heart of Southern California, Long Beach blends with a big city with the relaxed atmosphere of a beach resort. Bordered by the Pacific Ocean with over 5 miles of sandy beachfront and filled with historic landmarks, Long Beach is full of year-round California sun.
Everyone here in Long Beach that live here, they really love their city.
The atmosphere, the water.
You get to like walk around and it's very more social.
Felix, where is home for you?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Ponce, Puerto Rico, but I'm residing in Atlanta right now.
And why Atlanta?
Indianapolis is too cold for me. I'm a Caribbean island boy, and I like the warm weather, so...
Well, you imagine that he will be in Miami, in Florida, or something like that, right?
There's too many women in Miami, so try to stay concentrated.
Yes. What about you, Nico? Where is home and where are you coming from?
So I was born in France, born and raised in France, in Normandy. And last year I came in the USA, and now I have a place at Miami, Florida.
So you see, he does live in Miami. Is that, don't you think that's a little dangerous having a French in Miami?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know what they say.
So,
what they say? Tell me.
So Nico, what is one of the hard things to get used to live in America?
Well, when you come from France, of course, I think it's the food. I mean, the food in France is so good, and then you arrive here and you spend your time eating burgers, you know.
Well, thank you for joining me in this small tour about the Long Beach track. I hope to see you driving this track soon.
I wish.
And maybe you will be here, but in an Indy car.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. The future is bright and anything is possible.
Same for me, I guess.
Indy Lights was the only series from the Mazda Road to Indy competing here in Long Beach, but the race more than made up for it. It was one of the most exciting Indy Lights competitions in years. Indy Lights took to the streets of Long Beach for one race on Sunday. Jack Harvey sat on pole, but trouble in turn 1 on lap 1. Kyle Kaiser made contact and sent both of them into the tires in the opening corner. Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports got Harvey back out onto the track with a new rear wing, but his race ended just before the halfway point after an incident with Juan Piedrahita. Felix Serralles snatched the race lead after the incident, but Ed Jones was hot on his tail and forced his way into the lead right away. Serralles stuck around and would finish in third. This race was a race of attrition. Within the first 10 laps, Matt Brabham slowed to a stop in his Andretti Autosport machine with a mechanical failure. His teammate, Shelby Blackstock, slid into the runoff, and he finished 9th. Up front, after sharing the podium in St. Pete, Ed Jones and Spencer Pigot duked it out for the top step again. Pigot came from as far back as 5th to challenge for the lead, but Jones made it 3 for 3 on the season with Carlin. He extends his points lead and stays perfect in 2015.
It's amazing with the history of this circuit. It was a very difficult race. The tyres really went off and you're really working the car. I touched the wall a few times on the exit, so it was a bit risky, but I had to push so hard because Spencer had more pace than me at the end of the race, so it was really difficult, and no, it's great to end it this way.
Very crazy start to the race. We kept fighting, we fought hard. The Yukos guys have done a great job, making a lot of improvements from last week in St. Pete, so big thanks to them. Mazda, Cooper Tires, Market, Rising Star Racing, Studs, everybody that's helping me.
Overall, a good result, and I'm happy to finish third in the podium and get some points. We can definitely build on this momentum, and you know, I'm really looking forward to Barber.
April is a busy month for the Mazda Road to Indy. Our next stop, Barber Motorsport Park in Alabama, where all 3 series will race. But for now, we'll leave you with the points results from this weekend in Long Beach.